You know that old saying that the best laid plans of mice and men? Well, that happened to me today, just a few hours ago. The plan that I had to come out and do a hike and cook and talk about Brain Tumor Awareness Month, which today is the 29th, and I am almost out of time to do a brain tumor awareness video. But there and again, character flaw, procrastination, etc. The other thing that I was going to do today, the flies are bad right now. The other reason for coming out and doing a video today was that Haze Outdoors has started another Show Me Your Steak challenge to address depression in men, people, but in particular in this challenge for men's mental health. A lot of times we as men have a hard time talking about depression and things that bother us. I know I do. I always say, just suck it up. You can just keep on going. And ironically today, I had a little bit of a meltdown because, as I just a minute ago kind of mentioned, for the past two and a half hours, I have been retracing my steps because while I was on the way out here, I thought I would get some of those nice, cool shots of, hey, look at me coming, look at me going, there I go past the camera, etc. And everything was going fine until I got into the woods. And you might recognize where I'm at. This is the, hold on a second, let me switch the view around. This is the reason I came here is because I originally had planned another place to go. I originally had planned to go up on the ridge to a new place that's got a spectacular view, a lot better view. But because of the searching for the missing bracket, here, let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, now I've got a little mini Joby, and I've got another like Joby wannabe, but this is a Joby. I'm sure a lot of YouTubers know what I'm talking about. Well, this one has the quick release button right there, and I forgot to put it in lock. It was unlocked, and my bad hand, this bad hand where I don't have a lot of feeling in it, was holding it. And so as I was stumbling, I started to stumble a couple of places, and I'm assuming that I've hit the button and it released it. And so for the past 2.5 hours, like I keep saying, I'm out of breath, and I just got up here, threw everything off, and but anyway, I've been trying to find that bracket. That's what I've got out today. I didn't bring the osprey. I thought I would bring out the Ilby, although that thing is just super heavy. But I do have my DSLR. I'm going to pull it out in a second. I've got a stake for the Show Me Your Steak challenge, and since I'm already tired and I don't feel like going up to the top of this ridge and making a fire pit, etc., so I thought I'm just going to come here. I'll do I'll get some firewood, have a fire here, and then here in a minute we'll talk about Brain Tumor Awareness Month. I'm going to talk, and as I said, Haze started this new Show Me Your Steak challenge, and I thought I would talk a little bit about living with a brain tumor. I know last summer I did a video talking about it and showing some photos of what I looked like beforehand. I don't have any photos of me when I was kind of confined to a wheelchair, but luckily that's neither here nor there. Probably what that was speaking of, that's one of the reasons probably why I didn't lock that in place. But if my ankle, as I was coming up the hill back there in the field, my ankle kept rolling, and it was, it's kind of painful, and I started getting aggravated. When I get aggravated, I get irritable, or I get irritated, and I wasn't paying attention. And like I said, I've looked, but luckily those pieces, those two brackets should be relatively, low cost. It's just the fact that I beat myself up too often, I guess, talking about, where the radiation, the surgeries and radiation and chemo, et cetera, have just fried my brain, just shredded my short-term memory, long-term memory. It's weird though, it's kind of like an Alzheimer's patient. They can remember what happened to them 30 years ago like it was yesterday, but the things that did happen yesterday, they can't remember. Sometimes that's the same way with me. All right, take 3. Having a hard time today. Wow. Just trying to make a quick show me your steak challenge video, and talking about brain tumor awareness today. It's trying to not happen for some reason. But the Joby, as I was pointed out a minute ago, it's got a locking mechanism. I just got this one the other day, like 2 days ago, and I knew it had a locking mechanism, but this morning, as I was finishing packing, I put the cellular phone bracket on, screwed it down, but I didn't remember to hit it, put it into lock. And I had planned on doing, you know, all those bushcrafty kind of video shots as far as me walking toward the camera, me walking away, you know, etc., etc. Didn't happen. Simply for the fact that once I couldn't find this, I started getting down on myself. You know, short-term memory loss. You stupid, you know, gimp, stupid cripple, stuff like that. You know, sometimes, you know, your mind can be your best ally, or it can be your worst enemy. And sometimes mine is my worst enemy because it just internally berates me. Sometimes that makes me angry, and it fuels the fire to exercise or work out, which I've got to, speaking of Haze Outdoors, he and his friend, I can't even think of the guy's name, Matt, I'll put it in the video when I do post editing, are doing a challenge called Operation Ironcock, and it'll end in I think August the 13th, and that's just a code or a word. They're going to have a challenge to get back into good shape. So I've kind of calmed back down a little bit. I was, you know, like I said, when I got up here, I was aggravated with myself, and I had been out in it's pretty warm today and humid here in Southwest Virginia, and I'd been out there for the past, like I said, few hours getting eaten alive. The bugs today are pretty rough, but I do have some skin so soft. To where, or I've been liberally applying it to my arms and legs. And the next time I come out, I'm going to bring my Thermacell out. That thing works pretty darn good. But anyway, I think I'm going to sit here, grab a water, or a sip of water, Propel water, I should say. And then I've got the steak. It's not the greatest. It was in the freezer, like a lot of where steak has been going up because of the you know, the elephant in the room kind of situation, the pandemic. I just grabbed I haven't went out and got any meat other than it seems like pork chops are always available at Sam's Club, but I could have brought one of those, but since it's technically a show us your steak challenge, and this will be the second show as your steak. The first one I did was with my friend Bill Mitchell, no relation, even though my last name is Mitchell. I was adopted, and that was the first actual YouTube video, not the first one I released, but the first one where I actually went out and did like an overnight trip. And I think I'm going to put a link into it. Should be up here, but it is, and like I said, it's a 29th, and character flaw. Look at that belly. I think I'm going to do the upper. Like I said, that's why one of the reasons why I'm going to do the Operation Ironcock as well, even though it's just an informal thing. I used to do years ago those EAS Body for Life challenges, and I think the best that I ever did was I got my body fat down to, it was right at 4%. I've paperwork somewhere. That's back when we were the doctor I was going to. He was using the skin calipers, and so So it was pretty good. And I think I was 172 pounds, and I could bench press 300 pounds was my max. But that was 2003 or 2004. So it's time, way past time. I mean, I exercise a lot, but this time it'll give me a solid time frame and a goal, rather than the last time I lost a bunch of weight was during that round of radiation and chemo, and I got down to 162 pounds. I haven't been that thin since, or that light, since middle school. Else, I didn't bring anything other than the steak. Well, actually, I do have a packet of Nor rice, but since I'm running so far behind schedule, I'm still aggravated a bit with myself. I'm just going to make the steak and not worry about the Nor rice. But now I've got to go and find. Oh, if I can get up. See, the fat belly. So I'm going to go find some firewood, and then I'll be back on here in a second. Out. So, all right. What we're going to do now is I found some actual wood that I had left here from the last time I was here, and I went ahead and chopped up this piece, which I don't think I'm going to need that much. Not just for a little fire. Got that piece. Earlier today, not being able to find or losing that bracket has just thrown me off into like a little tizzy, I guess you'd say. I'm all discombobulated. The whole plan went to crap. But as they say, the old saying is adapt, improvise, and overcome. So I'm trying to do that. If I can just get a fire going, we'll be okay. Which I think I'll just use these pieces and the pieces that I've already chopped up over there and broken off to start the fire, rather than worrying about this big piece right now, because I don't need that right now. But it's nice to know that that is there. And actually, I'll put it up here. I'll throw it up here underneath the cover of these. There we go. All right. So we're going to take these small pieces, take the hatchet. Always, especially for me, always put the mask or sheath back on immediately after use, or you will forget it or lose it, like me. All right. I've got a bunch of small pencil-sized pieces all the way up to your thumb, or over here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try the new more bushcraft knife that was the other thing that I bought with the stimulus money. I'm going to try to do feather sticks. I'm going to be honest, I've never done a feather stick. Maybe if I could speak normally here, it would be all right. So here we go. Let's try it. Let's be careful we don't. Ooh, all right. All right. Well, it's a little bit harder than when you see people on TV doing it. Everything. Oh, yeah. All right. There we go. There we go. All right. Not too hard. You know, here in Southwest Virginia, I used to do a lot of whittling and things like that. So it's not that different. It's coming along pretty good. Like everything, the more I practice at it, I'll keep that face back. And Paul Kurt, I was watching the survival guy, Paul Kirtley, and he was saying that sometimes a longer stick, maybe something this size, is sometimes better to use to make feather sticks than you know, something small. That way you have a longer, you can go down further and not have to worry. But we're going to try. Bugs are out. My skin's so soft, must be wearing off. Or they're just attracted to my good looks. Let's see how this works. I think I should have went a little bit further down. Which, yep, should have, but that's all right. It's okay. You know, everything's a learning process. And, you know, like I never said I'm an expert at this. ever. There's a lot of, and then some, and you never know. Tomorrow I may forget about this that quickly. That's the sad thing about. That's one of the sad things about the brain tumor situation, is the memory. You know, it's the physical aspect is bad enough, but on top of that, to have your memories just shattered. I think that was one of the hardest things, is that, you know, people age, and things slowly not fall apart, but, you know, your faculties kind of start slowly going over the course of some time, over the course of years. I was 38 when I had the first grand mal seizure, and at that time I felt like I was 20. But then you wake up out of that coma, and then the surgery, and I went in 38 and I came out in some ways 68. So yeah, sometimes, you know, you get a little aggravated, you get a little angry, etc. That's one of the issues that I have to deal with, is I get frustrated at myself. I got frustrated, like I said, on the way here. I lost that bracket. I know it's just a material thing, and it can be replaced, but it's just aggravating. It's aggravating that, you know, here in the States, you know, in Canada, for instance, you have the national healthcare system. England, the same thing. But here in America, if you become injured, or like with this brain tumor, I had to go on disability. Well, I had to virtually empty my bank account out, and thankfully my Jeep, I have a 2001 Jeep Cherokee. Luckily, it was paid off, and wasn't paying attention, and I cut myself a little bit there. I don't know if you can see it. Crikey. That's what happens when his hand kind of moves around a little bit on me. Got to be more careful. But here, as I was saying, here in the States, if you, God forbid, have to go on disability and or Medicaid, you have to empty your bank account out, basically. And as I was saying with my Jeep, luckily it was paid off, and it was so old, or it was old enough, and the value was not enough to where I would have had to have sold it. But let's say I had a fairly new car, or if I had a home. If I owned my own home, I would have had to have sold that home to get disability, or to Medicaid. That is one of the issues that I have a problem with now. If I go back to work full time, I lose all of that, but I wouldn't be able to work enough hours to qualify for the company insurance. And a lot of employers have already told me that with a brain tumor that has been diagnosed as incurable, treatable, but not curable, I would send their insurance rates, sky high. So it's a no-win situation, and then it just gets frustrating. That's one of the reasons why I started the YouTube channel, to show other brain tumor survivors that, even though you might have a terrible diagnosis, and I know there's some people with brain tumors and brain cancer, etc., that it's a lot worse than me. I didn't think I'd ever get out of a wheelchair. I didn't even think I would, still be alive. But I'm still here, and I need to keep the finger back a little bit from there, just in case. I need to pay attention to what I'm doing. See, that's the other thing. I used to be that I could multitask. Now, as you can see, I started talking, wasn't paying super close attention, and I'm not going to cut that. I'm not going to edit it out. I'll just leave it all in, and that way you can see that, hey, bad things. Pay attention to what you're doing. So we're going to just go ahead and leave that the way it is. Yeah, I'm going to put the knife up for a second. I didn't even bring a first aid kit with me today. Doggone it. Yeah, I thought I was just going to come out here and do a real quick discussion on brain tumors, and also and depression, and then got discombobulated and whatnot. But it reminds me, with the Mora bushcraft knife that I purchased, it comes with a fire steel. The other fire steel, or let's see. Let's see how this works. All right. Well, come on now. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. All right. That is not working. That is not working. Need more shavings. We need more shavings. Or birch bark. We don't have here, right here at this latitude, we don't have any birch bark, any birch trees. Well, I've just about got that down, at least. Alright. Alright. I'll be right back. What do you got there, Mr. Mitchell? What do you got over there, buddy? Well, I'm gonna tell you what I got. What I really got. I got a what do I have? I've got dryer lint. And I've got a hexamine cube and a piece of paper because, hey, I am not Bear Grylls or Ray Mears. None of those cool guys. I am not. And I know I should have had more feather sticks. But don't have it. So here we go. Dryer lint. And let's try this again. I'm pleased that I'm starting to get some decent spark though. All right. What's the problem here, pal? Can't seem to get it. Oh, it almost lit. Curses. You're killing me, Smalls. Killing me. There we go. Nope. I'm saying let me get that feather stick there. And if I have to do it, don't make me do it. We're going to do it. We are going to use paper. No. You bastard. Let's try it. If at first you don't succeed, try. Try. Alright. It caught on the feather stick. All this stuff right here is. So I want to keep trying on that. I don't want to cheat and use a. God grief. Alright, I will cheat now. As Triumph the insult dog used to say, I'm going for poop backup. That's right. Oop, back up, baby. Poop, back up. I inhaled something there. A hexamine cube. We will try it again. Here we go. All right. Good grief. All right. Just drive me crazy. All right. You know what? You know what? I didn't want to. Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord. I'm going to use a lighter. Call me a cheater. I don't care. Call me a cheater. Uh-oh, battery's about to go. We're just going to use a lighter. Have to change the battery out. Yep. All right. So as you can see, I brought a couple of backups since I'm a novice at this. I think it was I need to make better feather sticks. That worked. You caught for a second and it went back out. And I'm going to have to change out the battery right now. So I'll be back on in a minute. By the time I come back, this will be a decent little fire. Okay. All right. Well, as you can see, I cheated, but I got it started. And I didn't even have to use, I was watching the Outdoor Gear Review not too long ago, and he had one of these pocket bellows. Neat little thing. You just kind of, whoop, there we go. Get as close as you need and just blow in the air. So, that's pretty cool. All right, so we are going to let that burn down for a little bit, and put the rest of these on. And I should have went all the way down and made that one, big feather stick. But you live and you learn. The next time I do that, oh, and some of the shavings from the fire steel are still crackling. But you live and you learn. Before all this happened to me, I used to go out a lot, but I think I've mentioned it. I was a cigarette smoker. I had smoked cigarettes until from 18 until just a couple of years ago. 28 years altogether. And I always had a cigarette lighter. So I never thought about the need for fire steel or bow drill or anything like that. But those are important skills that I need to learn myself and become better at least using the fire steel and the feather sticks and things like that. Because like anything, you can look at you can watch someone do it on television, and it seems so easy. But in real life, it's a little bit more difficult. But I will continue to try until I succeed at the feather stick. By golly, that's not the best looking steak. It was just what I had in the freezer from before all this coronavirus nonsense. Well, it's not nonsense. That's foolish to say that. But before it all happened, and we got a little Montreal steak spice. Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. more of that on here in a second. These little Tylenol tubes. This is one of the. It's a Tylenol, Tylenol tube that you can buy at the gas station or Wally World, whatever. I find these make pretty darn good containers, small containers for like an overnighter or like today. I've got a couple that have ones that got creamer. You can see the it's not a bad. I just kind of nicked my thumb a little bit, but I've got a couple of these. One has sugar in it, one has creamer, one has pepper, etc. Not paying attention to as I film. Yeah, so we'll let that sit there for a minute, and while it's doing that, we'll continue our chit chat on depression and living with a brain tumor. I need to get a Bush Buddy twig stove, and I also need to get one of Firebox's stoves. But that is a billy pot, and I don't want to pull it out right now. There's a Z-pad that you can kneel on, and there's my camera bag. That's my new camera bag. As I was showing you or saying, you start carrying all this stuff around, 4 or 5 hours at a time, it can wear on you, especially if you're trying to do 10, 15, 20 miles a day. I'll be starting out at just 8 or 9 miles per day, but that's why I would like to go to something smaller. If I could go to just a GoPro, keep my GoPro session. The only thing I don't like about that is the battery. Maybe it's a GoPro 5. It's a little old, and battery. You have to charge that thing all the time. Yeah. But maybe get a GoPro 6, 7, or even go into debt for a GoPro 8 and make payments on it. Use the phone like I'm using right now, this iPhone Max. Thank you very much, Tina. Shout out to you again, as always. I'm going to be getting some stickers soon and some things like that. So, Kristen, I'll be sending you stickers, and if I get a hat, I'll get you that as well. Yeah, I'm going to be doing, I want to start doing long trips, at least 10 mile. Okay, I'm all wobbly now. Camera's a little off, but it'll be all right. If you'll bear with me, look at all this. Look at this fat. Golly, got on the scale this morning and it said 198, and I said, you are a bloody liar. And I wrote some things down regarding brain tumors because of I tried to memorize them, but they lasted a day and it's gone. So as I was saying, this today is part of, I'm doing this for 2 reasons. A, the Show Me Your Steak Challenge to address men's mental health, depression. I've dealt with that over the years. Somewhat, well, not somewhat, I have. I'm not going to sit here and lie. When I was younger, when I was in elementary and middle school, I got picked on a lot. I was chubby back in the 70s and early 80s. Skinny was the norm, and I was overweight. When I say picked on, on the riding the bus to school, the bullies used to take my head and smash it into the window, which I mentioned before. And that inspired me. Then I saw in '76 Chuck Norris's movie Good Guys Wear Black. Started, thinking, that's pretty cool. Like a lot of kids, he was out there just ha ha ha. And then we started taking, formal classes later on. But point is that being picked on and and then doing, martial arts studies, things like that, I had a pretty good tolerance for pain, and pretty good motivation to get back to, I stayed in shape, and on and off. In my 20s, I gained weight, lost weight. People go through cycles. It's part of life, the yin and yang of everything. But the point is, when they told me I may never walk again, 50-50 chance, I whined around. I'm not gonna lie, I whined around. I was depressed, almost to the point of being suicidal for a little while. But I pushed myself, the Morgan Freeman line in Shawshank Redemption, get busy living or get busy dying. And I've mentioned that a couple of times already, so it's really nothing. If you watch some of my other videos, I kind of go over those a lot, so I don't want to be redundant. But it's just, one of those things. I can't go back. I still, to this day, it's been 10 years, a little over 10 years now. March 21st, 2010 is when this happened to me, or when I went into the grand mal seizures and had to be put into a chemically induced coma. And I was saying, as you go in at 38 and you come out and you're physically almost 68, and then I got MRSA in my skull. Had to have that piece removed. Almost an entire year I had to go with basically a helmet on my head, and because it was just skin and brain, because it took so long to get rid of that MRSA infection. I have quite a bit of pain now in my left arm, because ironically I can't feel it very well, but I get pain in my shoulders and things like that because that PICC line was in there for so long for the IV antibiotics. But as I was saying, it's still hard sometimes for me to reconcile the person that I was then and the person that I am now, and the dreams and things that I was going to accomplish. I went to college late in life, in my early 30s. I started in my 20s, went a semester, did another semester, and then in my early 30s, I woke up, kind of like, you got to get serious. And I started in the adult program at a now defunct university, sadly enough, Virginia Intermont. And then I transferred over, before that happened, to that college, to Emory and Henry College in Abingdon, Virginia. And I earned a degree in Asian Studies, which is it's a political science degree. It's part of the International Relations Department. Then the recession hit. I graduated in 2007. The recession hit. I couldn't find a job. It took me almost a year to find a position at a local dental practice. And God was with me there, because the women that I met and the two dentists that were my bosses, they were extremely good to me then. And those women and the dentists are still good to me. I've mentioned my friend Tina, and I mentioned my friend Kristen several times in the past, but all those ladies that I knew then, Brittany Lowe now, Brittany P, as we used to call her, and Kristen and Tina, Lisa Bostic, just there's so many people. It's hard, that's why on these bracelets that you see, and it says "No one fights alone." It's true, because if this had happened to me and I didn't have a kind of a safety net, or my family, we have this large farm, I would probably be dead. I'd be living on I would have had to have either moved into one of those efficiency apartments. I would have had to have probably moved there, or government housing. And what I experienced, when I had that near-death experience, like I've mentioned it before, it could be, whether you want to believe it's real or not, I believe it's real, and that is the most important thing. I know about MRIs and the magnetic resonance, the magnet going across the brain. Certain areas can produce, and people that are in comas, they can produce hallucinations. But anyway, depression. It's a killer. I deal with it a lot. Not clinical depression, but like if I'm like today, I lost that bracket. I got really bummed out for a while. Why, Lord? Why did you do this to me? Why am I there? Blah blah blah. I'm not gonna lie. I cried for a second because it's hard, and my situation is no worse than anyone else's. I've said it before. Our troops coming home, they don't have limbs. This morning, I was writing out a card to a boy. Shout out Landon. I don't want to use your last name because I didn't get permission, but shout out to you. You're just starting on this journey, getting this life-changing diagnosis. Let me put that on hold for a second because I'm going to go ahead and put this grate on and let it be heating up, and then I'll put the steak on, and then we'll continue the discussion. And it gives me a second to just kind of collect my thoughts there for a second. I'm starting to break down just a little bit. I don't do it that often anymore, but sometimes, I'd gotten accepted into UVA law. I thought I could help my family a lot more than what I can now. And I've said it before, that's one of the reasons why I started this YouTube channel. Not only just to show other survivors and other people with depression or MS, like my friend Bill, but if I were able to monetize this channel, I would do a couple of things. First thing would be I'd go ahead and do a pre-need for a funeral. Just go ahead and get everything taken care of, because I have no illusions. I mean, none of us get out of here alive, but I have no, my doctor has told me, it's right now it's treatable. It's not curable, but it's treatable. But the thing is, I just went through that CyberKnife high intensity radiation just 2 years ago, and then it came back just slightly over a year later. I did chemotherapy. Didn't have to do radiation at first. Did chemo. Excuse me. Let me put this down here real quick. All right, might be a slight edit there. I'll get some of that out of the way. But yeah, depression. It's a bitch. And all of us, whether you have a brain tumor or not, we all go through it. We all have depression. I went through depression before the tumor. I'll go through it. I go through it every now and then. The thing is, the key is not to. Why am I leaning back so far? The key is not to let it destroy you. It almost got the better of me when all this happened. Laying there in the hospital room, and then coming home, and then having the staples removed. Because first time when I went to UVA, I had to be wheeled around, couldn't walk. Then the staples were removed. And I'm not going to say any names or anything like that, but the staple remover was not evidently properly sterilized. And I got MRSA within 3 days after having the staples removed. 72 hours, I should say. I was back in the hospital, and that's when I was that's when they did the test, and that was the most exquisite pain to have a needle pushed down into your skull. And I remember my neurosurgeon said, "It's going to be a little pain," and I thought, yeah, sure, not a little pain, whatever. Oh my God, wow. So and then he came back and said, "Yeah, it's MRSA, and we're going to have to take that piece of your skull out." And I still remember he left the room, and I just started to cry again. But what are you going to do? You quit trying, or you get busy living? And I tried to push and push. I couldn't leave my family the way it was. I didn't have any life insurance. My mom had to pay. My grandmother passed away 3 months before this happened to me. And, you know, she didn't have life insurance, and we thought, well, it's not going to be a big deal. I was making a decent salary for this area. And we thought, not that big of a deal. And then this happens to me, and then she gets saddled with feeding the animals, the horse, the dogs, etc. Well, I'm laying in there on the couch, hooked up to an IV, or when I finally came home, I should say. And but I got off that couch, even with the PICC line in my arm. I pulled myself off the couch. I was doing girl push-ups, which means you're doing them on your knees, and just pushed myself hard. Now I'm up, moving around. I have issues. I'm going to have to do chemotherapy again in the end of summer. It's been delayed because of the virus, but you know, you just got to keep. I believe in just keep on pushing. And I still have a problem talking to people when I get depressed. Sometimes I react and I get a little aggravated, or I go off and I disappear and don't talk to anybody. Because right now there's not a whole lot of people around here anymore that I can talk to. And the smoke is blowing right in my eyes. But you know, so I wrote down some stats real quick here because of you know, every year brain cancer kills more children than any other disease. Here, 1 in 3 children will lose their battle this year alone. And then hashtag #BrainTumorsSuck. 700,000 people, 700,000 Americans live with a brain tumor diagnosis or brain tumor. 3,700 of those are children. And an estimated 4,600 people will be diagnosed this year alone. And that's not right. An estimated 4,000, yeah, 4,600, yeah, that's right. Wow. Yeah, 700,000. I wrote these down, and now looking at them again, it's just hard to believe. 700,000 people live with a diagnosis. 3,700 are children, and an estimated 4,600 will be diagnosed. Primary brain tumors, way down there on the road. Primary brain tumors are the leading cause of death for ages 0 to 14. That's crazy. You know, I don't know if it's just because we're more connected to these days, but when I was growing up in the 70s and the 80s, when I was in my teen years were in the 80s, I don't remember. Every now and then there was someone that would have a brain tumor, but not like this. I mean, really not like this. But all right, let me put this on hold for a second. I got to put that steak on. It's ready to go. As they say, back to action. And the flies and the no-see-ums have chewed crap out of my legs. I need to remember next time, just wear pants. I didn't think they would be that bad out today, but I was incorrect. That maybe one of those long sleeve shirts that you've seen them, kind of like this. One of these summer shirts that allow that dry quickly. All right. So as I was talking about with brain tumors, I've lost my train of thought. It's a good thing I wrote something down here. Oh, here's an interesting fact. There are 120 types of primary and central nervous system brain tumors. It's crazy. camera's acting cuckoo again. I might have to check and make sure that the SD card is not completely full. It shouldn't be, but it could be. And there are 80,000 new diagnoses that's going to be 80,000 new diagnoses this year in the United States. If I could speak properly, I'd be okay. Another thing I can't do right now, can't get to the orthodontist and get a retainer check and have my retainer adjusted slightly. And again, that's a first world problem, not a third world problem. So don't you go off on me again. For some reason it keeps every now and then stopping and saying it has automatically stopped recording. One thing I'm going to have to do on these long trips that I'm wanting to do, I'm not going to be able to take a big camera bag unless I do like a canoe trip or something like that, because I'd prefer to just use. I've got the DSLR, of course, but if I take that's why I bought the Joby. That's why I bought that Joby. And now I'm going to have to find a new bracket because I want to go from using a tripod. And if I'm going to do an overnighter, like come here or somewhere else, maybe do a day or 2 or 3, bringing a tripod like that right there is going to be fine. But other than that, I don't want to carry that weight around, especially if I were to go on long hiking trips. It'd just be too much weight to carry. So that's why, like I said, I bought the Joby, and so that I could use a 35 mil, the DSLR. And not have to worry about a big tripod, because those carbon fiber tripods are pricey. And you start carrying a bunch of stuff, and it's pretty heavy. It can get heavy quick. And I'm not 18 anymore. So here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let me. So this is me recording that. So that's a new tripod. It's still kind of heavy. It's not a carbon fiber. I could not afford a carbon fiber tripod. That's a new tripod. It's still kind of heavy. It's not a carbon fiber. I could not afford it. You can see me kind of wiping my nose. It keeps running up here for some reason, and I've got a napkin. Not to do that here in a second. But if I didn't have that, okay. Crazy. So yeah, I lost the train of thought again. There you go. I want to, I've got a GoPro session, but I would like to get a GoPro Hero and use that primarily, and like the iPhone Max. I don't right now have the money to spend to buy like one of those little camcorders, those little 4K camcorders. Right now, if I bought anything, it would be a GoPro Hero, maybe refurbished, maybe used. I know it's just one of those things I have to wait and see right now, because I've got a couple of other expenses that I have to pay off. Anyway, I better turn this steak over real quick. Using the old Boy Scout cutlery. I did order a titanium spork, and when it gets in, I'll use it and do the shout out to the YouTuber who sells them. It's a guy over in the UK that I watch a lot. So back then, to get the company insurance, and like we talked about this earlier, just a few minutes ago on the video. So it's a no-win situation. You kind of SOL in a way. You try to get out of the hole, but if you're only allowed to work 1 or 2 days a week, there has to be some kind of medium, some kind of middle ground where people can ease off. Now, the thing about what happens with me is that as soon as I start to get on my feet on the ground, or my brain starts to heal enough to where I could go back to work, bam, it's growing again. So I've had to have, like I said, I did 1 round of radiation and then I lost all my hair. It grew back with no gray. That's great. And I tell you what, trying to hold this out, tough on your arm. and the frequency. That's what I meant to say earlier. Is the frequency is growing shorter in between times that it's regrowing, and that's why we're starting to run out of options. Surgery is no longer an option because, you know, Dr. Schiff at UVA and Dr. Shaffrey, the head neurosurgeon, refuses to do anything else on that. He said it's just the tumor's too deep. And I know there's new treatments all the time, and I'm looking at those. People say go to Duke. Duke is not. I have an oligodendroglioma grade 2. I believe that's how you pronounce oligodendroglioma grade 2. And they're working on more fast-growing tumors. Mine is a slow-growing tumor, although as it's progressed over the years, it's each time it comes back, it grows a little bit faster. Even like right now, it's growing. And I was already supposed to have started. We were talking about doing chemo. He wanted to wait as long as possible because it was growing kind of slow this time. The last time that I had to do radiation, it was growing pretty quick. And then the time before that, it was growing pretty quick as well. But this time it's kind of slow. So ironically, he had already talked about maybe trying to push it to the end of the summer. So, I mean, this coronavirus has kind of, it put the kibosh on getting my MRIs and things like that. So right now I haven't had an MRI since December. So we don't know exactly how much it's grown since then. The next appointment is not until July 17th or something like that. But yeah, like I said earlier, what are you going to do? I mean, there are times that I break down, yeah, and I cry, and now for some reason, I know there's a name for it. I can just be walking around, all of a sudden I just start crying and become super sad for a second. Or if I watch it's just weird. I don't know if it's growing older, if it's a side effect or what. But yeah, it's just, it's crazy. Anyway, it's time to grab this steak and see if it's cooled down enough to eat. Because I didn't bring a plate. I just decided I was just going to eat off of the grate. So I might put that over here. So I'll do this. What the heck was that? All right, I'm back. Steak is a few more minutes on the steak after I've ran my mouse along. It's going pretty well right now. So yeah, I don't think I'm just not super hungry now. I mean, I am hungry, but there and again, I'm hungry, but at the same time, I forget about being hungry. It's weird. My body is saying, "Hey, you need something." This is what I was thinking about making, the teriyaki nor rice Asian side, but I just don't feel like it. Kind of don't feel like it right now, and it's 3:50. I should, damn it, look, this monster, 3:50. An old South Park there. But anyway, while we're waiting here for the steak to finish up, usually on these usually Haze tags people. I've reached out to a couple of people just to ask their permission, and I got responses. I got a response from one person, and I'll put a link to his channel here, and his channel is The Wooded Beardsman. And Chris, it's been nice chit-chatting with you on direct message, instant messenger, Facebook Messenger. Anyway, he's a good guy. I've watched his channel for quite some time, and I've learned several things from it. And so, Chris, buddy, you said it was okay, so I'm tagging you. It's your turn to do the steak. Show me your steak challenge. And now, since I know you've already done one, so maybe this time, like how has the COVID pandemic affected you up there in Canada? Eh? How's it going? Already then. Yes. Sorry. Too many watching too many episodes of SCTV. Bob and Doug McKenzie, The Great White North, Rick Moranis, and Doug. Oh gosh, Rick Moranis and Doug. Not Doug. That's his character name. Bob and Doug McKenzie, Rick Moranis, and I can't think. As soon as I edit the video, I'll remember. Dave. Oh crap! I can't remember. But when I was a kid, I was a big fan of SCTV. Then as a teenager, I was a big fan of Kids in the Hall. I'm crushing your. Was it? I always thought it was. I'm crushing your head. I'm crushing your head. But I've seen some people say, I'm pinching your head. I'm pinching your head. I'll have to go back and watch the older episodes. But I could have sworn I would have laid money. I'd still lay money that it's, I'm crushing your head. I'm crushing your head. Crushing your head. Oh yeah, The Great White North. I still remember that. That's not the greatest, but you get the idea. Go back and watch SCTV. That guy's name, I can see his face. He even played, he's been a character actor in all kinds of things. Dave, darn it. And then recently, of course, Super Troopers. That last Super Trooper movie with Rob Lowe, especially when he's yeah, never mind. You know what I'm talking about when he's doing the yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so Chris, Wooded Beardsman, you're tagged. I'm repeating myself, and I talked to another. I asked another guy, but I never really got a firm response. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, and I'm going to put a link to his channel as well in this video. Boom. His channel is Haze, or not Haze. Haze started. It's Mischief on the Trail. It's I've been watching his channel for a little while now. He had an accident on the AT Appalachian Trail, and you can watch his channel, and if he accepts the challenge, he's already talked about what happened, and it's pretty heartbreaking. And everybody's situation is different, and you don't realize how much you take for granted. You don't realize it. You don't realize it until it's gone. And I took a lot of things for granted. I mean, I worked hard for what I could do back. You know, those are things that I miss. I mean, I could still do those things, but as far as being able to do like a side kick or a roundhouse kick and just now, for some reason, the left side of my body, I mean, I don't know if it's because, and I asked my doctor about it, but it's just like, no matter how much I stretch, it's tight as a rubber band. I mean, like a bowstring pulled tight. So I'm always trying to stretch it, but the right side, just as flexible as it used to be. So that's another goal, not only when I do this Operation Iron Caulk, to submit photos over to Haze Outdoors' site, is to try to get back to the Von Damme full split. And I keep running my mouth. I've just chatted, and I haven't done any kind of cool things other than fail at the fire steel. But by golly, that's why you carry a backup. I had 3 backups. I had the dryer lint, which didn't work too good. And then on top of that, I had paper, and as a last resort, I went to the last resort, was the hexamine cubes. I don't have one right offhand, but they're, little solid fuel, basic. What's what it is, solid fuel in a square. And that's what I finally resorted to. I said, heck with it. And so, cheated just a little bit. But at least I'm honest about it. I didn't cut it out. I didn't, edit the video and say, "Oh, look at that! I started that fire." That would have been dishonorable. Dishonorable. Only a ninja can destroy a ninja. Only a ninja can beat a ninja. What movie is that from? I don't know. Da la 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 la. Okay, the steak is ready. The fire is actually. As you can see, that thing is done. We're going to let it rest. Need to pull it off or move it off the fire. But the fire seems like it's just about out too. It has been raining and raining and raining and raining here so much that. Alrighty, the steak is done. I don't know if you can hear me. Let me show you. I pulled it apart. I've already started munching on it a little bit. And using the DRIX, great, love it. This thing's heavy duty too. You can't bend it, can't do it. All right, so I'm gonna grab a bite of this real quick. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and make you watch me eat the whole thing. That would be kind of redundant and rude. And you'll probably just fast forward. So, just grab a piece here. But I meant to get out and just, it seems like every time I turn around, there's some little thing going on. But if I want to be serious about this, I've said it before, at least one video a week, per week. I tried to stick to Thursdays, that didn't last long. So, might be the rule would be at least one video per week. It may not be a camping video, might just be me training. I'm thinking about, talking about the Operation Ironcock. I always laugh like a kid. I might start doing a training regimen, doing the before photo of myself, and doing an after photo. And I might find, I know I've got some of the photos when I did the Body for Life, the last EAS Body for Life competition. I had a professional photographer take them, did the whole 9 yards as far as shaving your body, all that jive, because I was spending 6 days a week, and then on Sundays mountain biking. So 6 hours or 6 days a week, at least 2 hours per day in the gym. And I need to do that. It's one of the YouTube influencers that I watched here recently, Sean Cannell. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Cannell. I really liked him. But that's what he was saying. Design your channel around your life, your passions. And my passions have always been since I was a little kid. Like I was saying earlier, I saw Chuck Norris in Good Guys Wear Black in '76. And then the movie Shogun in 1980. And I used to read that book almost every single year, once a year. So in the future videos, and I think I've talked about this before, I need to start making a journal of each video of what I talk about or do in each video. That way I don't go back over, because I'm notorious for not watching myself. Once I make a video and I sit there and edit and I'm looking at myself over and over and over and over, I don't usually go back and re-watch them later on. So I've had recently someone said, "Hey, in that video you did this," and I thought, did I? So with memory issues and just being professional about things, I think it's going to be an important thing that I need to do, is setting a goal of one video per week, and maybe showing or teaching, talking about a subject that's close to my heart. One day it might be a history lesson, or so in one video it might be I talk about Buddhism, or one video I might talk about Taoism, which I've done in the past a little bit here and there, or like I said, it might be, I was thinking the other day about a theory called hegemonic stability theory,
It's kind of like an explanation of a rise and a fall of a hegemonic power. Hegemon just means like the totally dominant power in a region, or these days globally. So yeah, going forward, things like that. So it's going to be still be reason to live adventures. So it'll be like this. If I'm out hiking, as I'm hiking along, I'll start talking about that. And if I'm doing an overnight camping trip, around the campfire, maybe telling a story. I know, like for instance, Luke in the Outdoor Gear Review, which Luke, shout out to you, buddy. All your reviews have been spot on. The Ilby, your review. Oh gosh, just about almost all the purchases I've made lately. The Osprey backpack, I got that used, but your review. Bought a Navy Parker recently, your review. That Mora hatchet, your review. So I'll be putting a link into I got 3 links. I'll probably put a link into Luke's channel as well. I say Luke like, hey, we're buddies. Hey, what's up? But he just lives over, just as a crow flies, right over the mountain in North Carolina, and he does a lot of videos being filmed here locally around Damascus, Virginia. He does I've seen him. He's done a couple of creeper trail walks where he hikes. He'll not hike, but walks the entire creeper trail. From Abingdon to Damascus, or vice versa, Damascus to. But he's done things like, there's a 30-mile hike I want to do. I can't find anybody that wants to do it. From Grayson Highlands Park, Mount Rogers, from there all the way down to Damascus. I'd love to do that. So that's another reason for getting in tip-top shape and maybe doing that an actual video vlog, getting in better shape, strengthening. I got to strengthen this left leg, something fierce, so that it gets weak so fast, And if I limp, as I get tired, the limp gets worse. And as you walk, and if your gait is off, it can have serious repercussions. Can screw with your hip. It'll give you lower back pain, etc., etc. But anyway, I've been a chatty Cathy, as always.
The next video is going to be an overnighter, and I just got in a Bushcraft Outfitters 10x10 tarp. Been wanting one for quite a while, but being on a tight budget, I just haven't been able to afford one. But like I said, I used a little bit of stimulus money on outdoor gear products because, if you believe in yourself, like with this channel, I thought, I'd need a few things, like a good tarp. And I bought a Climate Roamer tarp, which I'll pull that thing out here the next trip and use it, and that Bushcraft Outfitters tarp. I don't know if I'm going to use a tent or not. The bugs are coming out, so I may be forced to use it. I was going to try to just use a tarp and do a tarp camp, but unless I have a thermocell and a bunch of mosquito citronella candles, it wouldn't really be viable. And my hammock that I use is just an just plain old hammock. You've seen it in like three of my videos. Anyway, you've seen it in my videos. It's just the warm weather hammock. I don't have enough money to buy a good Hennessy hammock, or there's another brand I can't think of right now that's really good but pretty expensive. I don't have that right now because I'm trying to save up money, like I said, for either a used GoPro Hero, or just go into a little bit of debt, even though I just paid my credit cards off with the stimulus money, to get a new GoPro Hero and just use this phone and the GoPro session and a solar panel. And I've got that Mountain Hardware Skyledge tent. Skyledge or Sky? Yeah, I think it's Skyledge 2. 2-person dry pitch tent. Done me well. I've used it a couple of times, and it's a kick-ass tent and an unbelievable price. I got lucky on that, just like I got lucky on the Osprey. But like people say before, always say that if you have a little bit of money saved up and you're really diligent and really keep your eye out on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, you can get good gear and not have to pay full price. That's what I've done. I've watched, like I said, Luke's on the Outdoor Gear Reviews, his reviews on products, just like that Sport Near chair. Rather than pay $100 for a Helinox chair, that thing works just fine and was 35 bucks, something like that. I can't remember now. It was on Amazon. But all right, that is enough for today. As always, like every other YouTuber, if you do like this video, and I know a lot of people may not like it because I just ran my mouth the whole time. Understandable. Boring as hell. But if you did like it and you want to see, future videos, excuse me, that steak. Click the like button, subscribe, and now they have the new thing is hit the notification bell so that whenever I release a video, and if you click the bell, click all, you'll get a notification every time that I release a new video. So living around the local area and you want to go and do a hike or a video, or not a video, or you want to be in a video, or if you don't want to be in a video and still want to go on and do a hike, I can always edit people out. My friend James, he hates that when I'm filming. That's why I edit a lot of his clips. On the clips that he's in, I edit him out quite a bit because he does not like that. So, and I can understand that. Good grief, holding my arm up like that is just killing me already. I'm a big wussy. Kind of reminds me of the Punisher movie with Thomas Jane when he was like isometrics. Killer workout. And he gives the guy the grenade, and so he has to hold it up, but when he releases it, it goes off. So anyway, and hopefully, speaking of the virus, look at my hair. Look at that. Need a haircut. I've got one coming up on June the 4th, so I'll have to wear a mask, which I hate, but I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, see what I was talking about? My hair, there's a little bit of gray, there's a few white hairs here and there, but at my age, I'm not going to tell you you're my age, but it grew back after the Telly Savalas look. It grew back completely brown, no white at all. So that was a positive. So I'm moving it all over the place. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. Talk to you later, and we